Good night. We are going to talk about how to maximize hip mobility with squatting tonight. So I'm going to give you 3 tips that you can play around with so you can squat easier, so you can squat deeper, so you can have less hip pain when you're squatting, and so you can just squat better all around. So the first tip is toe out. So the old kind of common phrasing of your toes must be pointed straight forwards when you squat isn't true. They do not need to be pointed straight forwards. In fact, they should be angled out a little bit, around 10 degrees or so. And that amount of angle is going to vary based on someone's hip morphology. So let me show you. So here, squatting directly down, toes right in front, I get this far. I do nothing else besides turn my toes out. All of a sudden I can go a little bit deeper. Why is that? That is because the hip joint is sitting at an angle pointed outward a little bit. And if you move your toes from forward and you rotate them out just a tad, you're matching that femur, your thigh bone, up with that hip joint in a way that maximizes the movement and the mobility within the joint so you can go further. Basically, you can bend your hip more before you run into a bony end point or a stopping point. So when you're squatting, you want a little bit of toe out. However, you don't want too much toe out because again, the hip sits at that specific angle. You angle too far out, you're gonna run into a bony stopping point before you get to the bottom of the squat. So a little bit of toe out is good, too much is bad. The next tip is to increase your stance width a little bit. So when you squat, the average kind of way people are told to squat is about shoulder width apart. If you go a little bit narrower, you're not going to go as deep. You go a little bit wider, you also won't go as deep. So squatting here, my toes are pointed out a little bit, feet are about hip width apart. I'm gonna squat down. If I move my stance width just a little bit, I can go a little bit further. However, if I move it even further, I can't go quite as far and I come up. A little bit closer, I can go down, a little bit closer, and I'm back up. So again, there is a certain stance width that is going to be best for everyone, and it depends on your body morphology, how that hip joint sits, everything that's going on there. Play with that stance width. You can squat down playing with the stance width and look in the mirror and see at what stance width do I get the best mobility? How far should my feet be apart in order for me to squat as deep as possible? Sometimes they should be further. For people with long femurs especially, or long legs and short torsos, they're gonna find that a wider stance, much wider than someone like me with a long torso and shorter legs is going to like, simply because of their body proportions. Lastly, the last tip you can use is to get a VersaLift. So you just go on Amazon, search for VersaLift, and it'll give you, it's a little lift you put in the shoe. It's not the entire length of the foot because you're not elevating your leg. It's gonna be just under the heel. So it'll push that heel up a little bit. The reason this helps with hip mobility is because when you're squatting, basically your mobility, the 2 limiting factors are usually your hips and your ankles. So if your hip mobility really isn't that good and your ankle mobility isn't either, if you maximize your ankle mobility, you're gonna decrease the demands on the hip because the ankle is gonna be doing more of the mobility work to get you down into the squat. So maximizing or improving your ankle mobility will indirectly improve your hip mobility just because the demands forced on the hip won't be as high. So those are 3 tips to improve your hip mobility with squatting. 1, toe out a little bit. 2, find that stance width that's just right for you. And 3, if you're really, really limited, or if you need to just a temporary adjustment to work around some hip pain, get some VersaLifts. They're like 20 bucks on Amazon. It'll just bump your heel a little bit higher up, improve your ankle mobility, so it'll decrease the demands on the hip. Those aren't meant as a long-term solution though for something like a back squat. Ideally, you want to be working to improve your mobility along the way. If you have any questions on hip mobility and squatting, feel free to let me know. And thank you for watching.